Hey. So, I have been getting, let me turn this off. I have been getting a lot of questions regarding if we're doing business in a new state, how do we kind of transfer our LLC? So I kind of want to just hop on here and kind of answer a lot of questions I've been getting in the DMs because, I can't answer them all. Okay, so hello everyone. How is your Saturday going? So, let's just talk about, we'll talk about our entity structure. We'll talk about some foreign LLCs. And I did get a lot of comments regarding this holding company post. So I'll kind of touch on that. Okay. So, a lot of questions I've been getting this week is if I move if I move, how do I move my LLC? Like, what does that look like? So if you are in one state and you're moving to another state, the easiest thing to do would be to register your LLC in the new state as a foreign LLC. Okay. That way you will keep the age of your original LLC, but then you are legally able to conduct business in the new state. And then it also is going to open you up to more banks and more lending opportunities. Okay. So if you are moving states, then you want to just file your new LLC as a foreign LLC. However, whatever are the state rules in in your original state, you're going to have to follow all of those formalities. So filing your annual report for that state, filing a tax return, whatever you have to do, that has to still be done in the old state and the new state. Okay. Some states don't have an expensive foreign LLC fees. Some states do. If you decide to close your LLC in the original state and then just open up a new LLC, you can also do that also, but you will lose the age. So if you formed your LLC 5 years ago and then you've opened up a brand new one, you'll now be 1 year in business, although technically you've been in business for 5 years. So that's kind of like the downside of just dissolving the old LLC and forming the new LLC. Okay, so I always recommend registering the old LLC as a foreign LLC and then just having to do both reports so that you can at least keep that age. Okay, when it comes to holding companies, I think every business needs to have a holding company because you're going to have some kind of assets. So, simple things like a trademark, that is an asset. If your business were to get sued, you don't want your LLC owning your trademark. If you were to get into a car accident and kill someone, you don't want, and you get sued personally. If you own your trademark, a trademark is an asset, so that person can now come and take your business trademark. So you always want to, you don't really want to have a lot of assets in your name personally, and you definitely don't want to have any assets in an LLC that's doing business, okay? Meaning an LLC that is doing business with the public, doing any kind of transactions, because whenever you do a business, whenever you're having transactions, that means that you can get sued, okay? So a holding company will be an LLC or a corporation. It does no business. All it does is will hold the assets, have the title of the cars in its name, have the deeds of the property in its name. Okay, so if we are in Airbnb, if we have rental property, we don't want to be Airbnb in a house that we own, and the LLC also owns that property. Okay, so you would want to set up a holding company, and then you'll have another LLC or corporation as like your management company, and that will be the company doing the business with the Airbnb. That will be the company doing the business with the rental tenant. But you don't want to own the asset and do business in the same LLC. That is for asset protection reasons. Okay, so those are like the main reasons why you would want to have a holding company. I get a lot of questions about trust. Okay, and so here is my 2 cents. There are so many different vehicles that you can use you have to kind of do the one that is best for you and most cost effective. Okay. Yes, you can set up a trust, and yes, I can, draw this nice big old diagram where the trust owns this and the this owns that and the that owns this. But all of that really costs a lot of money. Okay. And if you don't have a lot of assets, it's like we are paying all this money for, all these asset protection vehicles, but we don't really have anything to put in the trust. Okay. So the example I always tell when people call me, talking about a trust, I ask, okay, well, what assets do you own? Oh, I don't own it yet. I'm just saying, I saw on Instagram. Well, here's my thing. Would you put a Rolls Royce engine in a Toyota Corolla? The answer is no, because the V4 engine that comes in a Toyota Corolla is going to carry that Toyota Corolla, great. You're going to get great, you're going to get great gas mileage. Everything's going to work because that engine is built for that car. Can you go put a Rolls Royce engine in the car? You can, but is it going to make that car perform any better? No, it's not. Okay. So, yes, you can have a trust, and yes, you can do all these things that we're seeing on Instagram, but a trust one is very expensive to form. You now have to fund the trust. There's different rules and regulations on who can be the beneficiary of the trust, who can be the executor of the trust. You can't zig and zag once you put an asset in a trust. So when I'm talking from a business mindset, if we don't have a lot of assets, if you don't already have your own estate planning attorney, you can kind of get the same protection with an LLC, but with an LLC, you're still able to zig and zag. And when I say zig and zag, I mean this. In business, shit happens, okay? Shit happens in business. And sometimes we got to go left, right, left, and we got to move some stuff around depending on what happened, what's about to happen, or what we foresee coming out. And so you want to have a vehicle that you can kind of move things around with to, I guess, accomplish whatever is your goal, okay? So, make sure that you are doing what is best for you in that situation. Same thing with an S Corp. Yes, an S Corp has all these benefits and boom, 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 boom. But you really won't see those benefits unless your business is bringing in $100,000 a year. Okay, so yes, you can set up the S Corp and, boom, boom, boom. But one of the requirements of being an S Corp is that the owner has to be on payroll. That means, can your business sustain a cash flow to pay you every 2 weeks and pay the IRS their payroll taxes? If your business is not there, then you don't need to make that S Corp election. I can give you all these diagrams and all these great things about an S Corp, but if you are just starting out, or if your business is not yet at six figures, like I always say, just stay in your lane. You maximize, where you are, and then as you grow, you're going to be adding professionals to your team. So you're going to be adding an accountant or a CPA. You're going to be adding an attorney to your team. They're going to tell you, hey, it's about this time, to make this election. Hey, it's about this time to maybe structure it this way. Hey, it's about this time. But when you're just starting in business, or when you're starting your business and you're trying to grow it, like you got to focus on starting it and growing it and protecting what you have. Okay. So if you don't have a whole lot of stuff, we don't need a whole lot of asset protection, but you do know what the other vehicles are. So as your business is growing, I have employees now, I definitely need to be on payroll. So like, what payroll company do I have? I really need to have a CPA or an accountant, and you're talking to your CPA or accountant, like, hey, like, this is what I'm doing. I need some kind of, tax preparation. Like when you go and hire a professional, you're the person who's paying them. So you should be interviewing them. You should be asking them questions like, what are the common things for this industry, and boom, 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 and boom, boom, boom. Like at some point in time, we got to leave our little tax lady and go to an accountant, a CPA, and you're going to be paying more, but they're going to be protecting you from what's happening, or they're going to be helping you plan for the future. Like, hey, you're growing. You definitely need to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, so That's my spelling of trust. Like, yeah, it's all over Instagram. Same thing with an S Corp. Yeah, it's all over Instagram. An S Corp is not a business entity. You're going to form an LLC or a corporation, and you are choosing for them to be taxed like an S Corp. You're not going to really see a true tax benefit from being an S Corp unless your business is making $80,000 to $100,000 minimum a year, because there's going to be more admin things you got to do to be an S Corp. I have some questions on here. Hold on. But how y'all doing on Saturday? Hey. Okay, Cleveland checking in. Okay, so I did holding companies, the foreign LLC. Can you still create a holding company after you've already started an LLC? Yes, you can still create a holding company after you start an LLC. It's just going to change the way that it looks. I'm a visual person, so I'm going to just draw it out. Let me get a big marker. So the nice, pretty diagram I always draw, and then, okay, so if you form the holding company first with the subsidiaries, then you're able to kind of have this structure, okay? Well, you have your holding company, and then you're going to have your different LLCs or your different subsidiaries, whatever you want to call it, okay? This is the same thing. It's just not as cute. All you really want to do is you want to make sure that each business is separate. So, hold on. So in this diagram, the H means holding company. So this will be the holding company, and then these will be my two different LLCs doing business. Okay, so whatever assets I have, they're going to be over in this company. This company is doing no business. Okay, it's just holding the assets, and then these two LLCs are the ones that I'm doing business in, transacting business. Okay, so this is the same setup asset protection wise. Okay, it just is a different way. So if you already formed your LLC, there's ways that we can kind of change some things around, or you can just have three separate LLCs. But the main thing you want to do is make sure you have one LLC that is protecting your assets. So whether you have real estate, whether you own vehicles, whether you own copyright, whether you own trademarks, anything that is an asset, you don't want it to be in your LLC. Another thing when it comes to structuring your business or running your business correctly, you really want to make sure that you're following what they call corporate formalities, okay? Forming your LLC is like the first step, but then you have to run it correctly. If you don't run your LLC correctly, if you're not following the corporate formalities, if you were to get sued, they're going to be looking to see, hey, are you running this bad boy correctly? Corporate veil. Piercing the corporate veil means they're going to combine your assets with the LLC assets and kind of make them all like in one big gumbo, and that defeats the whole purpose of setting up the LLC. Okay, so reasons why you can get your corporate veil pierced is, one, if you are doing business with an inactive LLC. So if you have not filed your annual report, you haven't paid your state fees, if you're doing business as an inactive LLC, that's one way they can pierce the corporate veil. The first thing that's going to happen in a lawsuit, the attorneys are going to subpoena those bank records. Okay, they're going to subpoena those bank records, and they're looking for nails, barbershops, shopping. They're looking to see if personal expenses are coming out of the business. Do you think the CEO of Walmart is, getting his haircut on the Walmart card? He's not. Okay, so if you're not running your personal life and your business life separate, and this is the hardest one, trust me, I know. Okay. If you're not running those two things separate, they are going to pierce the corporate veil. Okay, so you want to make sure that everything is separate. Now, if you took your check card and you swiped it one time, is that going to kill you? It's not going to kill you. However, what happens is a lot of times we have business money, coming into our personal account, or we are just using the business account as a piggy bank, so you really want to make sure that you aren't just forming forming an LLC.
Got one?
Corey, I'm online. We need to be quiet, okay?
Yes.
You want to make sure that you're forming the LLC and you're running it correctly, okay? So, you can Google corporate formalities if you want. You can book an hour consultation with me. I can break it down to you, you know, what you need to do, but you need to kind of have your stuff together. Another thing you want to make sure that you have is you want to make sure that you have your contracts on point, okay? Don't Google See, my lives are always raggedy. They are always raggedy. Okay. You want to make sure that you're not Googling your contracts. Okay. You want to make sure that you are protected. By Googling a contract, you don't know, are your state laws in there? Are the certain clauses that need to be in there to protect you are in there? Do you understand what's in your contract? Don't just sign something not understanding what it is, okay? So have an attorney look over it, have an attorney draft. Like a contract is one of those things that you don't want to skim on, okay? Your bookkeeping, you don't want to skim on your numbers. There are certain things in business that we don't want to kind of, cut corners on. So Googling contracts, a definite no. You don't know where the contract came from. You don't know if it's protecting you. The worst thing you can do is sign a contract thinking that you're protected, and then when shit happens, you realize, ooh, I'm not protected, okay? So you want to make sure that we have either attorney drafted contract or email the contract for an attorney to look over to make sure that, hey, you understand what it's saying. If you go on my website, I have contract templates and I give you 3 contracts. I'm going to give you the actual contract. I'm going to give you an explanation contract where it's going to explain each paragraph so you, one, understand what you're signing. And then when you're talking to the person who's going to sign the contract, you can then explain to them what it's saying, and then you look so smart, right? The third contract I'm going to give is going to be an example contract where I'm going to have everything written out. The parts that I have in the template for you to change will be in red, so you know exactly how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to read. And then in the explanation contract, I have like sections where I say, do not alter any of this language, because that language is what you need to protect you as a business owner entering into an agreement, okay? So a little recap. We want to make sure we have our business structure correct. You want to make sure if you're new in business, it's okay to understand about holding companies and trusts to kind of keep that on your forefront for when your business grows. You will definitely need to have a holding company. I always say if the cash flow is okay, I go ahead and form your next LLC. Okay, you can make it a real generic name, J&J Holdings, J&J Enterprises, whatever, but go ahead and form that LLC and just have it sit. The reason why I say that is because it's just going to be aging. Okay, so whether you want to age it for funding purposes, you want to age it for, because you want to build your business credit profile up, but at least you have the entity already formed. So when it's time to now have your holding company, you already have an LLC in place. If you own any kind of license, I always have an additional LLC and license on deck. Okay, so from my dealerships, like the second I got my dealer license, OCC license with my entity, I started a brand new LLC, got the dealer's license OCC for this. Sometimes stuff happens, okay? If something happens, if something were to happen and you were sued, if something were to happen and they put a hold on your license, are you going to be stuck and not being able to bring income in? Or, I was talking about zigging and zagging, do you already have another vehicle set up in place? So if there was a hold on your license, you can still pick up and carry on to make money, because guess what? On the first, that mortgage is still due, okay? So if you have any kind of license, I always would say get another LLC, get a whole nother license, and it's just sitting there. Make sure that you keep the LLC active. Make sure that you get whatever you need to run your business. So sales tax license, a seller's permit, a blah, blah, blah. I always have like a duplicate LLC ready to go, because I'm not going to get caught slipping. So if something were to happen, y'all flag my license, bam, zigzag, I can already do business again. That's another reason why I like LLCs and businesses versus, a trust. Because in a trust, there's so many layers. Like a trust is like asset protection on steroids, but you can't zig and zag. And in business, sometimes you got to zig and zag depending on what's going on. So whether you want to hold a second LLC just for age, make a duplicate business so in case something happens, you can still, conduct business. Third is every LLC you form, once you build the business credit profile up, you can really, that's like a whole nother person to get funding. So you may not have a business idea today, but in 2 years, you may have a business idea. Okay. Anyone who's a parent, you got some badass kids, form an LLC today. If your kid is 5 and you form an LLC, why did I say 5? We're going to say 1 because me and math is not good. You had a baby, and your kid is 1, great. Form an LLC for your child. Now, you got to look up your state rules. I just say put the LLC in your name because in a lot of states, a child either can't be on an LLC or a child can be on an LLC, but they can't be on a business bank account. Like in Texas, a child can be a member of an LLC, but they cannot be on a business bank account. So then you will never really be able to build out a business credit profile because we don't have a business bank account. So if your child's 1, form an LLC. Okay. Don't go get them Gucci shoes, them little Gucci little baby shoes that they can only wear 2 times. Don't spend all this money on these baby clothes. You just go form that baby a LLC. Make it a general name, put you on it, form the LLC, open a bank account. If that LLC sits until they graduate high school at 18, that baby, your graduate, will have an 18-year-old LLC or corporation. There are people who are paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a 5-year-old age corporation. Okay, if you want to be smart, there's no limit to how many LLCs that you can own. You could buy an LLC today and in 5 years sell it as an age corporation. Right now, I think is it Colorado? I think right now Colorado filing fee is $1. Okay, now of course, if you start a Colorado LLC, you have to now register it in whatever state you're in, so you'll have that additional fee. But you could rack up on some LLCs out of Colorado, and some states the foreign LLC fee is cheaper than what the actual filing fee is. But if you have your little 1-year-old child today, form them an LLC, form them 3 LLCs. Every year, file the annual report. Have a business bank account. Put $100 in the business bank account so the bank account doesn't close. So now when they graduate, they have an 18-year-old LLC or corporation. They have banking history for 18 years. If you would just love your child, go ahead and build out the business credit profile. Go through tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So when they graduate from high school, they ain't got to come look for you for a loan. You just hand them those corporate documents. They can walk into a bank and they can get funding for whatever their little business idea is. Okay, but let's just say you want them to go to college. No problem. All the LLC is doing is aging. When I say aging, it means it's getting a longer history. When you walk into a bank with a 1-year-old LLC or you walk into a bank with an 18-year-old LLC, the 18-year-old LLC just looks more seasoned. For example, if you're about to have heart surgery, who do you want operating on you? Do you want that doctor that's fresh out of medical school, who hasn't killed no one yet, to know how to work on you? Or do you want that old doctor who he's been in surgery for all these years, he done killed thousands of people when he first got out, he knows exactly how to save people's lives now. So what you really want to do is maximize on the LLCs that you own. I get so many people trying to put 3 and 4 and 5 businesses underneath one LLC. And it's like, if y'all could just understand, like, the money is in the LLC. The wealth building is in the LLC. Like, LLCs is the vehicle that you need. So why do you only own 1? Why not own 5? Why not own 10? What's stopping you? Like, that is a vehicle. If you just bought 10 LLCs and just held them, in 5 years, you can sell each of those aged corporations, aged LLCs for $5,000 or $10,000. But I got all the way off off track. Anywho, if you do have a child, though, you really should form an LLC and just have it age and just build it out for them. So when they do graduate, they already have a corporation, because everyone is not built for college. And then if they do go to college, hopefully they will want to, have either their own business or business on the side, another stream of income. So that to me is a great gift to be able to give your child, versus some Gucci shoes that are going to be out of style, or they're going to grow out in a year or two. That's just my little 2 cents. Okay. But, to answer everyone's questions on the holding company, you should form a holding company and have it just sit, because eventually your business will have assets, equipment. Once you pay the equipment out, it should be in the holding company. If you are a person who purchases vehicles like to have forever, you're not like a leasing person, and eventually you're going to pay that car off, put it in the LLC. You just never want to have a lot of stuff personally that's tied to you that you own. Like, you really want to look like broke on paper. For this reason, someone's going to look you up, and depending on what they see that you have, that makes you also a target for lawsuits. Been there, done that. If you scroll down my Instagram page far enough, you're going to see a whole lot of foolishness. Don't do it, okay? Don't post your house, your car, don't do all that, because it makes you a target. If something were to happen, the first thing the attorney is going to do is look you up. Are you stunting on Instagram? If you're stunting on Instagram, then you are a prime target to get sued. Now, anyone can sue you. Now, will they win the lawsuit? They may not win the lawsuit, but now you have to incur legal fees, attorney costs to defend yourself in this dumb lawsuit, which you probably wouldn't even have to do if you just looked regular on your Instagram, okay? I think I had a couple of questions. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Yes, I will be saving this live. What is an age? An age corporation is a corporation that has age, a corporation that has history, a corporation that's seasoned. So it's like an older corporation. The longer that you're in business, the longer the longer of your corporate age, the more, I guess, how I can say, the more brownie points that you will get when it comes to funding, because your company looks more mature. You will you'll get a lower interest rate. You'll get a higher line of credit. You'll get an approval faster if you are an older corporation versus a brand new corporation. So that's what an aged corporation is. I need to learn business credit. Okay, I have a business credit program on my website, girl. Check it out. I have another LLC, but one is in Mississippi and one is in Louisiana. Okay, I don't quite know what that question is saying. Joy, you are helping me. Oh, well, thank you, girl. Thank you. What to use as a virtual business address? You could do Regis, you could do Opus, you can do DaVinci. I'll write these things in the comments. If I pin it, it's going to make my live go off. But whatever virtual address that you use, you want to make sure that it's an office. Like you can actually go to the place, and there's not going to be mailboxes. It's going to be actual office, conference rooms, suites that you can rent out. You don't want to go to a UPS store. You don't want to go to a postal annex. You don't want to go to any kind of mailbox. That's not what a virtual address is. Let me see what else. Do I have any more questions? Does the holding company and the LLC have to have the same name? No. The holding company and the LLC don't have to have the same name. In fact, they can't have the same name, because there can't be two companies in the same state with the same name. If you change the name of your business, does it change the years of business? No, it will not change the years in business. Whenever you amend an LLC, you have to bring in all the paperwork. So whoever you're showing the paperwork to, they're going to see the original documents of when the LLC was formed and then what the new name is. So changing the name will not change the years in business. I'm attaching an 800 score with an 8-year-old corp now. Okay, get it, Purple Jesus. Yes. Is a holding company the same as an aged lady? I don't know what an aged lady is, Phyllis Jones, but a holding, I don't know what that means. Let's see. Regis, okay. Well, it was in reference to you teaching on transferring your LLC to another state. So the LLC is in Louisiana. I have to transfer it to Mississippi. Okay, so if your LLC was in Louisiana, then you'll file a foreign LLC in Mississippi, and then you'll need to keep both LLCs active, the Louisiana and the Mississippi LLC. Okay, let me see if I have any more questions. Do you need to get a bank account for all the LLCs that you are trying to age? No, you do not have to get a bank account for all the LLCs. You will need to file whatever is your state's annual LLC or corporation requirements. It's going to be a report. So every state requires all LLCs to file some kind of report, just so that they know, are you still using the LLC? So whether you did any business with the LLC, you made some money, because the state is reserving that LLC's name. If you're not going to be using that LLC, then they need to take that name out of being reserved and let someone else use it. So you won't have to get a bank account, but you will need to file whatever is the your LLC state's requirement as far as paying a fee to keep it active and what report. What if your company already started, but now you want to make that the holding company name? Can you do that since you already run the business on it? You're not going to be able to switch the name. It depends on your state. You're going to have to contact your Secretary of State, and give them a consent to use. Like some states require you to give consent to be able to use a similar name, but you're not going to be able to have two of the same names, if that answered your question. Okay, let's see if I have any more questions. Does an LLC have to have a control number for business, or is that only required for a corporation? I don't know what a control number is. So that may just be a state thing. So you're saying all purchase for the company should be under the holding LLC. Assets. All assets need to be owned by the holding company. Now, if you are going to finance a car, meaning you have built out your company's business credit profile and you're going to finance a car, that is not an asset. That is a liability. Okay. You don't own that car because you're paying a note on it and you're financing it. So if you have 10 Ford vans for your company and they're all financed with Ford, it's no biggie, because if you were to get sued, those 10 vans can't be touched because you don't own them. Ford owns them. So Ford would be like would have like a first lien, if you want to say. Like Ford owns them, so Ford would just take back would just take their little vans back. Now, once you pay off the van with Ford, you then the title to that van will then come into the LLC's name that financed it. Okay. Normally the LLC that's doing the business is going to be the one that you have built the business credit profile on. It's going to be the one that has the revenue coming in. It's going to be the one that Have these 10 vans financed by Ford. Once you pay off the van, then you need to transfer that van from the LLC that financed it, because the title will come in that LLC's name. You will have to transfer that title from the LLC that financed the van to your holding company, which means you'll have to go to the DMV and do a title transfer so that the holding company now owns that van. So if you're trying to purchase something, you'll purchase it in the LLC that's active, the one that has the bank account, that has the money coming in, the one that you built the credit profile out for. But once you pay that off, you then want to transfer it to that holding company. Okay, let me see if I missed anything. I saw it already. In age, LLC is just that. Okay, you're answering the question. Why does the bank still require my personal social if I'm opening up a business account? Baby, because they got to link that business account to a person. So whether you have an anonymous LLC or regular LLC, a bank is going to require your social, your ID, to verify that you are really a person who is opening up this bank account for on behalf of the business, because there's too much bank fraud, and they have to verify. There are federal banking laws. Like, a real person has to open up the bank account. When would one use an S corp versus a C corp? An S corp is a tax election, so you would form a C corp if you want it to be a corporation, and then you would choose to be taxed as an S corp. An S corp is going to have tax benefits. So if you were a regular corporation or a C corp, you're going to get taxed twice. The corporations are going to pay tax on the money that they make in the company, and then once you get your distribution, you're going to pay tax. So you pay tax at the corporate level and you pay tax at the personal level. It's called double taxation. So you don't want to be taxed as a C corp because you don't want to pay taxes twice. That's why if you're a corporation, you'll make that S corp election. Okay. If you formed a corporation, you're making the S corp election. Reminder, an owner of an S corp must be on payroll. So you have to have payroll coming out every 2 weeks with payroll taxes being paid. So you want to make sure that your business is making enough money to sustain all that. I always say, unless your business is making $80,000 to $100,000 a year, it doesn't make sense to make that S corp election. I have my EIN and DUNS, but the bank wants my personal social. Yes, the bank is going to ask for your personal social because a person has to open up a bank account on behalf of the business. I'm saying my trunking company name, I want that name to be the holding company name, and maybe amend the name for the okay, who is this? Donmo 32. All this switching around, you're gonna have to get some kind of approval with your Secretary of State. You can't just do that online. You're gonna have some kind of consent to amend it. My whole thing would be, why can't we just DM me, Donmo, because we're a little complicated. I know what you're saying, but you can't just switch it that easily. You're going to have to do something else. No, you do not build business credit with the holding company. The holding company does nothing. The holding company don't even have a business bank account. Okay, the holding company just is an LLC that you file the annual report to be active. It does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. No bank account, it's just there. Okay? It is just there. Okay. What kind of attorney can help me achieve a trust? Okay. If you want a trust, you need an estate planning attorney. ESTATE, estate planning. Do you suggest using an LLC to hold real estate that you mortgage? Okay, if you have real estate that has a mortgage on it, the bank owns that property. So the bank or the mortgage company 9 to 10 times is the bank is going to be the first lien holder. So you can't really take your name off a mortgage and put the holding company's name on the mortgage, because the holding company is not going to be finance worthy to be able to sustain that mortgage or to be able to qualify to get that mortgage. So once you pay that mortgage off, then you would transfer that property to your holding company. But if there is a mortgage on a property, the bank is going to be the first in line as far as who owns it. So if you were to get sued, you wouldn't lose that anyway. Now, unless you owe less on the property than what the property is worth, that will be a little hiccup for you. Okay, to make sure I answered all my little questions. Can you still put your W-2 check in your LLC account? Is that operating appropriate in business? No, that is not operating if you just deposit. If you're trying to build up your business bank account, you would need to make yourself an invoice and pay for some kind of service or product, and then you can put the money in via the multiple invoices paying for the service. But just depositing I don't even know how you can even deposit a personal check into a business account, but that's not the way to go. If you're trying to self-fund your business, book a consultation with me so I can explain to you the proper way on how to do that. If starting an LLC for real estate, how do you show income if you have nothing to start with? You're going to have to self-fund. You're going to have to self-fund that LLC. You're going to have to put money into that bank account. You should have my LLC kit that has all the documentation you need to report that transaction. How do you go about getting the 3 documents you mentioned every business should have? Operating. Okay, I have an operating agreement on my website under the contract, under the legal contract templates tab, and then what 3 things did I say that we needed? Operating agreement. Who is this? Are you talking about, who is this? Oxa, let's see. Are you talking about the LLC loan agreement and the operating agreement? If that's it, you'll need to get my LLC kit and then get the operating agreement off from my legal templates. Okay. No business address required for a holding company. Okay. So do you have to have a virtual office for the holding company? No, you do not. Just know that whatever address you put on the holding company, if somebody were to look up your LLC on the Secretary of State's website, they would be able to see that address. So you don't have to have one, but the address is going to be public. So if you're okay with that, then go for what you know. Is there, just in case you get sued, they can't take nothing from you, correct? Talking about the holding company. Okay, so you can get sued for anything. To protect yourself, the holding company is going to protect those assets. If you have any kind of assets in your LLC that you're running the business on, you need to follow the proper corporate formalities, making sure that your LLC is active, that we're not paying personal bills out the business bank account so that they don't pierce the corporate veil. So piercing the corporate veil is what you need to be worried about, meaning they're going to say, hey, your LLC is not really real because it's just another extension of you. I have a nonprofit, but looking to establish an LLC to manage and control the nonprofit. Is this wise to do? I don't know if that is, I don't know if a for-profit can manage a nonprofit. I don't think that's the avenue that we need to go. There needs to be we need to have 2 separate things. Should I make a YouTube channel, a business, if it's monetized? Yes, ma'am. Yes, you should, Queen Tees. Yes, you should. Make sure I answered all my little questions. Do you have a grant funding ideas if a business is funding out of pocket? I have a business grant bundle on the website, 650 grants for funding for your business, we just need to have a great statement of need. Are there any profit grants available for funding? I have a grant bundle on my website. Okay, so grants. There are several organizations, institutions, businesses that will give you money for grants, that will give you a grant. Unlike a loan, you don't have to pay it back. They're just going to give you the money, okay? You are going to have a great statement of need, meaning why do you need the money? What are you going to use the money for? And then what is the budget for whatever it is that you need? So you are going to have to put some work into developing that. However, once you develop your statement of need, and in my grant bundle, I give you the list of the grants, plus I give you a grant workbook. It's going to help you develop your statement of need. It's going to give you adjectives. It's going to kind of tell you, how to make it sound like real cute. Because what you're trying to do is capture the grant reviewer's attention with why you need this money and how it's going to benefit you and the community or whatever it is that your business is doing, okay? You can also book a grant consultation call with me. It's on my website where I will kind of just basically tell you what your statement of need needs to be. But once you get your statement of need down and your budget,